days in Spain, 25 watts. I went from 3.9 watts per kilo to 4.3 watts per kilo in less than a week. And Interval.icu detected this data from actually a ride. I didn't even need a test. I tried to push my form up all the winter, trying 10 weeks on Zwift, then the Rouvy training like a pro, but nothing worked well like this. Something different happened when I went to Calpe. I'm going to show you every single day, every single data point. Let's get into it. If you didn't see my previous video, to put in a bit of a context, here there is a video of me doing 10 weeks of Zwift to build a solid base, a solid plan to increase a bit my FTP. It didn't go amazingly, and in the last few weeks I tried the Visma Lisa bike training plan, a bit of a pro training in the last few weeks on Rouvy, and here is the video. It didn't go amazingly, but I pushed up a bit slightly the threshold in the last few weeks. The Calpe Training Camp is organized by our team, the London Dynamo. We are the race team. We race in Cat 2 and Cat 3. The plan to follow was made by Rowan, ex-Dynamo rider. He also rode for San Piran and he raced internationally this year with the Jack Crew Ansling. So I was really confident that following day by day his plan, I would have improved because it's done by an athlete that has been there before. 6 days, no hiding. Let's see day by day. Day 1, we had a few issues with the car renting, so we arrived a bit late, so a lot of logistics, but we managed to pick one of our two routes. We took the shorter one, just a bit more than 50 kilometers. We jumped straight into the sunset in Calpe. Unreal landscape. After 2-3 months of rain in the UK, it felt like being in paradise. We enjoyed so much, even though the legs they were a bit stiff, because after the flight, a very early morning, I didn't really sleep much. The energy was not at the best, but the landscape covered it very well. A really nice sunset ride. Just a regular activation, nothing heroic, but that set the map, the plan, and the training for the Tuesday. A very hard day on the bike. Wednesday, day 2, the very first ride proper session. We went up and down Tarbena with over-unders, 30 seconds over and 30 seconds under. Quite a lot of effort, the legs felt very well. I felt already in the Spanish mood, in the training camp mood, really good. It was also lovely because we saw so many pro riders, some of them doing intervals up and down Tarbena and others doing Tarbena full gas, with some coming down the descent after the Coll de Tudons. So it was very enjoyable day, sunny day, but not too hot, so the perfect conditions. Over-unders are really brutal because they push your body to clear the lactate under load. You never really fully recover between over-unders. That's exactly the point. You can't really replicate indoors, even though I tried the same route on Rouvy. Day number 3 on Thursday, it was the day that I was a bit more worried about. 145 kilometers, 5 hours on the bike. I didn't build this solid base in winter, spending most of my time in the trainer for 2-3 hours max a day and in a very different condition and environment. After a good performance and we push a bit on the Coll de Tudons, 17 kilometers, the longest climb of the week, we went downhill, few issues with punctures and a crash. And at 90 kilometers, I hit a wall. My leg felt very stiff. I was really about to give up. It was zone 2, a bit more, but I was really tired. So I had to eat. I ate everything that I had with me and I picked on the car a bit more food as well because I tried to push a bit more. And slowly after 15-20 minutes, I came back. Nutrition was really important. I was really happy with that. And at the end, with some other people that survived, I also managed to do some chain gang at fast speed. So a very hard day, harder than what it was expected in the plan, but consolidated in my legs. And look at that, after 3 days, my Interval.icu already bumped me at 254 watt based on the data on these past 3 days. Unbelievable. Day 4, the fun day. Coffee ride, only 35 kilometers, very enjoyable. Zone 1, and the challenge was the person with the lowest watts and the highest speed wins. So I tried everything to get into this podium, and I actually managed to do it. I'm not gonna lie, it was a very fun day with it. Some people that decided to run, some people that decided to get carried by other riders, all towards one goal. the lowest possible watts, even though someone also attacked at the end in the coffee ride, but you always have one of those guys. But let's not get too comfortable, it's time to go on day 5. Day 5, Saturday, we're supposed to do 3 sweet spot 20 minutes up and down Coll de Rats, and then once we were up, down the mountain, and on the opposite side, we're supposed to do VO2 max for 1 minute for 10 times with a rest of 2 minutes. But the excitement was very high, and some people proposed to do the first one full gas. All the team racing together on the first time. Hard day in the office, but everyone accepted the challenge. And after 2 hours of riding, 1 full gas up Coll de Rats, 2 per 20 minutes up the Coll de Rats, so we did the Coll de Rats 3 times, and we were all down from the other side, and that where the 1 minute effort VO2 max started. Very hard day, but very satisfying. Not the best weather, we also had a bit of fun at the end, and we practiced how to grab the bottles while riding. It was a fun end of it. The legs felt very well. Obviously, I was really tired, but then the big moment arrived. I went home and I checked the data. 265 watts, meaning 4.3 watts per kilo. Detected directly from the ride and for all the work that we did this week. Incredible numbers. I was so happy. The FTP went up so much. Day 6 is supposed to be a Z2 ride to clear the legs at the end, 50-60 kilometers, but it didn't really go that way. We had quite a alcoholic Saturday night and a lot of parties to celebrate the last evening, but that didn't stop me to go out and ride. Some people decided to do chain gang on the Sunday, and not many riders showed up. But proudly was one of them. Very hard, especially on a long and false flats climb to go out from Calpe. And it was a very enjoyable 2-up way back to the hotel for our last day, before doing the checkout, packing our bikes, and going back to England. So what actually drove all those gains? I knew the training camps are one of the best trained to improve your overall FTP. Number 1, heat adaptation. While you are in a warmer place, your body adapts, and then your heart and the blood, they are working with the heat. They are working with a different environment, and they are capable to increase how the oxygen goes up. I didn't mention, but I also increased from my VO2 max from 65 to 68, which actually was my peak last summer. Training in warmth forces your cardiovascular system to work better at high capacity. Number 2, honest climbing. Outside, you can put a max gradient of 10-11%. Indoor, you can't really do long climbs. The conditions are different, and I actually really like climb, and I did quite a lot of climb on Zwift, but climbing in real life, and especially the descent in Spain, are a real difference. So much fun descending those descents. And in a climb of 12, 15, 17 kilometers, you cannot really stop, you cannot really check, you have to keep going. And also riding with a team incentivate your mind to do and push better. It's not like riding alone in the pain cave. Number 3, fatigue loading. After 3 days, I was already very fatigued. That pushed my body to go above threshold. Fatigue after the full push and the 2 interval in sweet spot on the last day, the Saturday, the second last day, the VO2 max effort performed on fatigue. That's what pushed your body to go extra. That's why on that day, like on the 3rd day, my FTP went up. This is why training camps work at every level, from amateur to semi-pro to world tour level. And that's why a lot of pros are also in Calpe. Number 4, I have to say the plan that Rohan did was fantastic. Obviously, a plan not done from an AI, but it's done from a rider that knows these things, that has been there before, and also race at international level. I tried to follow the plan as much as I could because I know the plan was structured for us to improve. I went there to improve my fitness, VO2 max and FTP, and I actually did it. My fitness was a 50, and now I come home with a fitness of 65. I'm not in top form, I'm not peak yet, but we are getting there. Last but not least, obviously Zwift built a solid base, and with the Rouvy training of Visma bike before going to Spain, I tailor a bit more my threshold and fatigue. The camp was a detonator, but you need to build the explosive first. If you've been grinding all winter and you're wondering why you're not getting any gains, well, this video was the answer. Go out, go to the real heat, go somewhere else, go to the real climbs, try different intervals, try to push your threshold and try to do intervals on fatigue legs in the real world. Even 5 days or a week, it can make the difference. It's proven that training camps are the best to push your threshold, FTP, VO2max, and also fitness. All the data of the 6 days are linked down below in the description if you want to check my Interval.icu. My Strava is always here, so make sure you follow, I'll follow back, and check all the details. If you have any question, leave a comment down below in the comment box. And if you appreciated this video, if it was helpful for you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe the channel. That makes a massive help for me. And to see if these gains they actually deliver in a real race here in the UK, you have to come back here next week for a new video. Ciao!